Imagine discovering an entire group of ancient humans without finding an intact skeleton, no face, no complete body, almost nothing, just a tiny piece of bone and DNA. And somehow that tiny evidence revealed something scientists didn't even know existed: a completely different population of ancient humans. They became known as the Denisovans, and their discovery changed what we thought we knew about human evolution. The story began inside a cave in Siberia, a place called Denisova Cave. Inside the cave, archaeologists found something that looked almost meaningless: a tiny finger bone. It wasn't a giant skull. It wasn't a complete skeleton. It was just one tiny fragment, but scientists decided to test its DNA, and then something incredible happened. The DNA didn't match modern humans, but it didn't match Neanderthals either. Instead, it belonged to something scientists had never identified before.
What on earth is that?
Think about that. Scientists weren't looking for a new human species. They accidentally discovered one because of DNA.
It is just so
But there was a problem. Scientists had almost no idea what these people actually looked like. A finger doesn't tell you much. Was the person tall, short, strong? What did their face look like? Nobody knew. So scientists had to use another clue, and that clue was hidden inside their genes. The DNA revealed that Denisovans were closely related to Neanderthals, but they weren't the same people. They were a separate human lineage, and apparently they had been living across parts of Asia for thousands of years. And then scientists found something even stranger: evidence of Denisovans on the Tibetan Plateau. At more than 3,000 meters above sea level, they were living in an environment that is brutally difficult today. And they weren't just passing through. They repeatedly used the same cave. Scientists even found evidence that they hunted animals, used their meat, their marrow, and their hides. But the biggest mystery was still waiting. If Denisovans were spread across Asia, where did they come from? And then DNA gave scientists another shocking clue: some modern humans still carry Denisovan DNA. That means these ancient people didn't simply disappear. At some point, they met modern humans, and somehow they had children together. Their descendants carried Denisovan DNA into the future. And this is where the story gets crazy, because Denisovan DNA isn't distributed equally around the world. Some populations have much more Denisovan ancestry than others, which raises an enormous question. Why? Why did this ancient human lineage leave such a strong genetic footprint in some places, but almost none in others? Scientists think different Denisovan populations may have lived in different parts of Asia, and some may have been very different from each other. In other words, there may not have been just one Denisovan population. There may have been several. And scientists still don't know exactly what Denisovans look like. But now we have more clues. One of the most important clues came from China, a mysterious skull known as the Harbin cranium. The skull is enormous, and researchers have found molecular evidence supporting a possible Denisovan connection. So suddenly, the Denisovans weren't just a mysterious finger bone. They were becoming a real population. But there's another problem. What happened to them? Why did this human lineage disappear? Maybe climate changed. Maybe populations became smaller. Maybe modern humans competed with them. Or maybe they didn't completely disappear. Because technically, part of them may still be alive inside us. And that's one of the strangest things about human history. Extinct humans didn't always vanish completely. Sometimes, and they became part of us. But remember, we still know surprisingly little about Denisovans. Their bones are incredibly rare. That's why every tiny fragment can be priceless. A tooth, a piece of skull, a tiny bone, even DNA trapped in dirt. In fact, scientists have recovered Denisovan DNA, not just from bones, but from cave sediments. Which means, even when the bones disappear, the cave itself can preserve traces of the people who lived there. Imagine walking into a cave today and realizing someone from 100,000 years ago left their DNA right beneath your feet. And there's an even crazier question. How many other ancient humans are still waiting to be discovered? Because Denisovans taught scientists something important. You don't always need a skeleton to discover a human. Sometimes a tooth is enough. Sometimes a fragment is enough. Sometimes even dirt is enough. And that means the human family tree may still be missing entire branches. Somewhere, there may be another cave, another burial, another tooth, another tiny fragment waiting to change our entire understanding of humanity. And perhaps the next ancient human won't be discovered by a skeleton. It could be discovered by a molecule. That's the incredible part. The ancient world isn't completely gone. Pieces of it are still hidden in bones, teeth, and dirt. And Denisovans may be one of the strangest discoveries in human history. An ancient people, almost completely lost to time, who somehow left a tiny piece of themselves inside us.